Hello, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. This video is about being vegan in a non-vegan world, living with non-vegans, being friends with them, my experience and everything I feel, along with some tips that might help you deal with things related. Please watch the video through, as the best part, in my opinion, is around the middle, maybe a bit after. Something that came out literally as a poem, and I really like it. And this could really help you as well as me growing my YouTube channel. I don't speak up for the animals to get followers or likes. I do it because as a human, I have the responsibility to do so and help others. I'm trying currently to make YouTube a job, and so I ask for the whole video to be watched in every video I post. My Instagram is focused about 85% on veganism. My YouTube channel is a mix of things from sustainability to gaming, lifestyle videos, and also veganism. Point is that my YouTube channel is a mix of many things, and my Instagram is dedicated mostly to speaking up for others. I also choose to speak up for the animals here as a bonus for activism. My channel is made for educational purposes as well as just for entertainment. I opened it for fun, and then I sort of realized that I'd actually like to earn either extra money or make this a full-time job. I apologize in advance that I'm looking down. I'm looking at my script that's on my dad's iPad here. And yeah, it'll take me time to get used to working without a script, and if I look up every once in a while, I keep losing it, and then it takes time to get back to you. So, yeah. I want to ask you something, for starters. How many of you have the luck to know at least one vegan in person? If not, or even if you do, you probably have a really hard time dealing with the dumb shit that people say, and that can happen, especially if you don't have any other vegans around. Only recently, one of my good friends, Tara, I'll link her channel down below, went vegan. I'm so happy she made the connection and stopped hurting others, because I always knew deep down inside that she's not selfish, and I knew that she actually did care about the animals, and she is a great activist as well. So I'll tag both her YouTube and her Instagrams. Well, one Instagram. She's one of my greatest friends, and I somehow just felt closer to her after she went vegan, and it just made me so happy when she did. But until then, it was day in, day out, not meeting any other vegan in person, only on Instagram, hearing the dumbest excuses from people I thought were smart. I have many vegan Instagram friends, but in reality, it really sucks when everyone you meet every day doesn't know or just doesn't care about anyone else. I only have 2 vegan cousins, 2 people in my whole pretty big family who I see very rarely, and we're not close at all. We barely talk, even when we meet. If I remember correctly, they also don't like to talk about veganism, so that sucks as well. All over the place, I'm surrounded by flesh-eating, breastfeeding weirdos who like to take anything and everything away from animals. Some may not be aware, and that's fine. I mean, it makes sense. I wasn't. But all of my friends and family, basically everyone who knows me, are very much aware of everything wrong with every industry that uses animals. It comes from arguments that started with a simple question and a calm, simple answer that somehow offended that person because apparently they are such a huge snowflake, which then made them start behaving like an even bigger selfish brat. I've had many arguments with friends and family members about animal agriculture, and some of them actually agree that it's wrong, but they don't care and just keep funding the violence. That's just what I don't understand, that people agree that it's wrong and cruel, but then just go do the exact opposite of what they clearly just agreed with me that it's wrong. Why are humans such a dumb and miserable species? Having no one around is hard, and I know that at times like this, especially when you first go vegan and have no one else around, it's uncomfortable and very hurtful that especially people who are close to you, but just, people in general, keep questioning you and mocking you, and the longer you're vegan, the darker and more evil the world becomes. This is probably the cause of certain studies actually claiming that vegans have a higher chance of getting depression and anxiety, which makes sense since we woke up to a world we thought was kind and caring and, just life with just a few small problems, and found out the truth that's been hidden from us all our lives. The hideous truth of how animals and other people are treated, and how normalized it is where animals are not even considered as someone. There are many lucky vegans out there who live with only vegans or have at least one, and they have friends, a few at least, that they can meet up and talk to. But sometimes we end up in the least supportive places with literally no one who understands and no one who cares. Food-wise, I know that there are many vegans out there who will not at all sit and eat anything with a non-vegan family member or housemate if eating something gross and cruel. And that's fair. It absolutely disgusts me as well, and it's so hard for me to sit with my friends and family. But I personally do eat with them because that's where many of our arguments and sometimes conversations happen, so I see it as a chance to push a bit more. I just make sure that nothing gross is close to me. I don't touch anything non-vegan and start up conversations about the animals sometimes. There are also plenty of times where an ignorant joke is made where I naturally immediately stand up, and fights often happen. I never back down because the animals need my voice, and they need it until the day I die. And this is another chance to tell you that if you're not vegan, if you are vegan and you're just not active, please start being active, because the animals not only need you to stop hurting and abusing them, but they also need your voice to stand up for them as much as you can. I'm yelled at by often at least 2 people at once. They're all against me and won't shut up with the excuses. It's hard and it hurts a lot, but I have to keep remembering that I'm not the victim here. I won't buy or touch anything non-vegan for anyone, not food, not clothes, not anything cruel, since that would be me still supporting it, basically showing them I'm okay with what they ignorantly choose to do, and somewhat seeing animals myself as a food object or just as a commodity that belongs to us. Non-veganism is ignorance, it's selfish, and it's a huge injustice, and where injustice happens, we have the obligation to do whatever we can to stop it. I also see somewhat good, I guess, in being around non-vegans, especially those who are close to you personally. For instance, my mom eats way less meat and more vegan food, so instead of just making pescatarian food for herself, she makes vegan food and eats the vegan food with me. Obviously, there are many times where, quiches and stuff like that where she eats, and it's terrible and it's annoying and it's disgusting, but even if it's not enough, it still is better than doing nothing at all. I've gotten my family from buying cage-free eggs from eggs to I've gotten family from buying cage-free eggs to eggs from eggs to eggs from a neighbor's back. I'll start over. And I've gotten my family from buying cage-free eggs to eggs from a neighbor's backyard, where the chickens are hurt way less. I'm assuming they're still bought from a terrible place and live in a cage, or, even if they live freely, but they're still probably not abused and killed. It's still wrong and disgusting because animals are not food machines and they don't belong to us. That's one of the biggest problems, where vegans are often asked if they wouldn't, or why they wouldn't raise chickens themselves and just eat the eggs if they know that no cruelty happens, because the problem in the first place is the fact that eggs are not supposed to be food for us, and the fact that we see it as food, we view an animal as someone or something. In this instance, we see it as something that can make food for us. It's wrong and disgusting. But unfortunately, they won't budge, and it's still way, way better than the factory farmed, abused, debeaking, killing males, and all the rest of the horrors on farms. I've convinced them to buy mostly vegan, cruelty-free shampoos and soaps, and laundry detergents and dish soaps. And I think, if I remember correctly, not to buy animals as pets as well. I just want to mention that I'm mostly talking about my mom when it comes to buying things, since she's the one who does the groceries. My sister has her own cosmetic products that she doesn't let anyone use, and, well, no one wants to. She won't use anything else, even though about 70% at least being non-cruelty-free and non-vegan. Nothing I say helps, and I'm not coming at her aggressively and telling her that she's killing animals. I mean, sort of, that's just at the end, but it's more like coming to her, like, if she buys something, if she wants me to touch something, pick up something, buy her something, I say no. I ask her if there's no way that she can just buy something else that has the same function, that just doesn't hurt animals, but unfortunately it doesn't help. Hopefully with time things will change, but it's still really difficult dealing with the fact that you live with and know so many people who genuinely don't care and see animals as nothing. Once you know of the cruelty and do nothing or even pay for it to happen, you are just as bad as the abuser themselves. It's hard living with and being friends with and just being around people who don't care. I've turned down one of my friends multiple times to go out because she keeps buying new fish. She keeps wanting me to come out with her and pick them out. Although I've tried everything, she keeps bringing up the excuses that she wants fish because they're pretty and cute and cool, and that it doesn't work by supply and demand, so she's actually saving them. First off, she probably only somewhat is going to be saving them if they get released in a pond, or if they have a ginormous home with tons of leaves, rocks, things that, entertainment, if they have so they're not just swimming around in a bubble, basically. But it's still supporting a selfish and vile industry that, exploits animals. So only if you steal them from the store and release them, or having them in a huge home with, again, rocks and leaves, things that, again, so they won't just be swimming in a bubble with nothing. So only if you steal them from the store and do that, you might be saving them, actually, instead of paying people to just bring more and, basically paying an animal abuser's salary. They live in a teeny tiny tank as well that's rarely cleaned, and she keeps telling me that they have more than enough room and that they're happy. Basically speaking, 99% of the times she cleans the tanks are with me when I'm at her house, and I basically make her do it. And she's also not at all careful with taking them out of the tanks for cleaning. She has one tank that is sort of like one of those huge maple syrup bottles that it's like huge and then it gets smaller at the tip. So like the top is this size about, and it's about this long, so it's like this, and then the bottom rest of it basically goes from being this to being like this. And it doesn't go like that gradually. It goes immediately from this to this. And not only is it this, it's about this tall in total, and also, also has a few some small rainbow rocks at the bottom, and there's nothing in it, so the fish is basically, there's a tiny fish, so the fish is about this size. The fish is the size, sometimes even smaller than some of the rocks there. She will literally just flip the bottle upside down and pour the fish and the water and the rocks all together into a bucket with water. And I've tried multiple times to, just do it myself, because she went in to get more water for the bucket. I've tried myself, to open the bottle, and obviously there's a hole for air in it, and, carefully, spill it out gently so the fish can naturally just swim into the bucket instead of pouring them out, which obviously is dangerous for him, because if she's just pouring it out like this, and the fact that he's so tiny, there's a huge chance that the rocks could easily hurt him. And again, she just keeps telling me that she knows what's best for them, and that she knows how to do it properly, and she keeps saying that she's scared of hurting them, and that's why she wants to be the one to do it, but then she just flips it over and lets him fall out, possibly getting hurt by rocks. And it's annoying, and it's really an asshole thing to do. I've also seen her behave very aggressively with dogs and cats, literally tossing them around like toys and not caring for their comfort at all. Literally like a 3-year-old picking at their ears, annoying them a little bit. Basically literally like a 3-year-old that doesn't understand that animals are not toys and that they have feelings and you can't just play around with them as if they're a toy. She literally does that. And it's just so stupid because all she sees them as is a decoration or an interesting toy. She also constantly bangs on the fish tanks as if they don't get scared, and nothing helps to get her to stop. The only thing left for me to do now is to just keep educating her every time she wants more, every time she bangs on the tanks. Basically, I have to watch her like a child when I'm at her place to make sure that she doesn't hurt them. Luckily, I don't think my dad will buy any more fish. We have some at home, and I feel terrible every day about it because they don't have such a big home, but they do have like rocks and they have places to hide, and we also make sure to stay away from the tank to not scare them. And it's cleaned, obviously. They cannot be released as well since they're not an Israeli fish and they could cause problems with other native fish. Something with the ecosystem and with, them multiplying and shooing away the other fish that are supposed to be there. He has shown interest in buying more, and I will try to stop him, but if he will, it's probably going to be a while before I talk to him again. Also, sometimes our dog is mistreated in the name of training since she's really stubborn and annoying, and I'm the only one who tries to stop it. Literally, out of all the people here at home who love dogs, I really don't, and this does have nothing to do with love, but I think you'd expect someone to be just a tiny bit more caring and careful and worried about someone you love. Like, oftentimes when she's mistreated, I will butt in and the others will literally just tell me to let it happen and leave it alone. Literally. The amount of hypocrisy and disgust some humans have is unbearable to be around, and to make it worse, everyone expects me to just respect everyone's personal choice, and shut up. It's so absolutely disgusting that 99% of humans see animals as less than us, as a commodity, and I keep wondering why. We're the idiots responsible for all the evil in the world and all the rest of the problems we have. There are people out there literally mocking vegans. There are vegan hate pages and vegan hate hashtags on Instagram, literally. And people actually trying to use... Oh, sorry, my phone closed for some reason and the app went over and closed it. But what I was saying is that there are people literally trying to use science as a way of justifying it, as if saying that vegans hurt more animals or whatever. They're vegan people that literally go and say bacon to a vegan's face, and literally, for whatever reason, animals have just been so oppressed that people actually try to justify hurting them and killing them with such a miserable and childish excuse. Another thing I wanted to mention is the fact that I've been vegan for a bit more than 3 years now has got my brain, I guess, wired back to the way that everyone's brain should be, where we see animals as equal, and the fact that I live with non-vegans and have non-vegan friends, the fact that I'm constantly surrounded by selfish animal abusers, the fact that I'm constantly aware of the fact that there's a chance that one day, every day basically, someone touched a corpse and they didn't wash their hands and then they're hugging me or touching me or my stuff, and the fact that my home is contaminated with dead bodies in the freezer, breast milk in the fridge, and chicken periods touching pans and cutlery that I'm going to be using as well. This may not be a problem to other people because ethically it's not an issue at all, but for me personally, it disgusts me so much that plates and forks that I eat with and the pots and pans that I cook with have literally touched a dead body or breast milk that's contaminated with pus and literally shit, and most times antibiotics and crap as well, and an egg that came out of a chicken's ass, And the fact that I feel like no amount of soap can just wash that off, because at the end of the day, the amount of bacteria that stays, even after 3 washes with soap, is crazy. And the fact that I know that a utensil that is used to touch what goes into my body has touched a corpse or has touched the inside of someone's ass in one way or another, and the fact that it's so normalized to use animals, that the fact that people are actually ignorant enough to bring up such a meaningless excuse as a way to try and justify the genocide they're responsible for and to keep damaging the world. The fact that sometimes my family doesn't think and buys soap that's non-vegan and tested on animals, and the fact that I live in fear, basically, of something non-vegan touching my food, which disgusts me so much. And the fact that I'm constantly wary of the fact that I keep having to remind them, my family, to buy eggs from the neighbor and to buy vegan laundry detergent, vegan soaps, and everything is so draining. And the only reason they're making these tiny changes is to accommodate me and not out of the slightest bit of respect to the animals. Everything is so draining, and it just pisses me off more and more every day. At the end of the day, no one cares, and I'm just seen as another rude, preachy, extreme vegan. Each vegan does what's best for them. Each person reacts differently to every situation. The only thing that matters is that you take care of yourself and stand up for others. Just know that whatever you're going through, you're never alone. And if you want to talk, feel welcome to message me on my Instagram that I'll tag below, and I'll be happy to talk. Some tips I could suggest to dealing with people like this is to try and stay calm, which most times makes them feel more comfortable with hearing more about it, even though, again, it's just basically an excuse. Even though people don't like, to be reminded of the shit they cause, the problems they cause, the fact that they're killing others. At the end of the day, what I do is that I'm just really calm and nice at the beginning, and obviously if someone does bacon, or someone does something stupid, obviously I have no problem just going and being like, okay, if you won't listen, that's your problem. I hope you're happy with the fact that you are the reason everyone's dying and the world is going to shit. Again, I do that usually only when people are literally being so ignorant and disgusting. Other than that, it is completely reasonable to be mad, and it could, at the beginning, and it could raise questions about why you're so mad, and being able to just respond with, if this was happening to your favorite person, you would feel the exact same way, or worse. Or, of course I'm mad. Why would I not be? You're responsible for the continuation of an animal holocaust. You're responsible for 70% at least of the problems that this world has. You're responsible for deforestation, and you're responsible for the climate crisis. You're responsible for starving children around the world, and you're responsible for others suffering terrible lives and dying just for a few minutes of a tasty snack that can be made in a vegan way. And although this is also good, and every way of activism is helpful and works, people are different, and so sometimes staying calm can help too. It all depends. People choose to do different things. I choose to be nice and calm at first, and other people might choose differently. I would recommend trying to be calm about it at first, because some people, I've heard a lot of people that don't know, or are just so severely disconnected that they don't think. And sometimes just simply and calmly explaining to them can really help them wake up and go vegan. Other times, if you yell at them at the start, people will feel attacked. Again, completely reasonable to do that. At the end of the day, each person chooses the activism that they do. Try to get your friends and family, I guess, to at least buy more cruelty-free items instead of the ones they already use. Offer to cook something that's non-vegan and veganify it. So, just veganize it, and maybe you could not tell them that you veganized it, or just veganize it and tell them that you did, and, make food so they eat more vegan food and less of the cruelty-laden food. Educating them often. Again, I would suggest telling them calmly and offering them to watch a documentary with you, or offering them to try Challenge 22 or to try Veganuary, even though as much as it sucks and as annoying it is, many people are so focused on themselves that they need that preparation, I guess. They need to start slow, and you know what? I'm fine with that, as much as it pisses me off that people know of the cruelty and they want to stop it, but they have the audacity to take baby steps is just stupid, because you would never do that with any other injustice. But at the end of the day, if it's either that or nothing, then I would much rather them do that and help them during the process and be patient than have them just do nothing. And I would suggest also, even if they don't want to and they try not to listen and they won't back off, just don't back off yourself. And I would also suggest, in like, not in public, but if like you have a TV in the living room and there are people there, just watching a documentary yourself where you see things, hopefully they'll be exposed to it, they'll hear things, they'll see things, and hopefully that'll make them think at least a little bit more. I would also suggest maybe trying to sit them down one-on-one and trying to seriously ask them to understand what is stopping them from being vegan. I've tried that with my mom without much success, but I will try again, definitely, and with others as well. You can use, obviously, any platform you have to educate and speak up for animals and make sure that people know that you're vegan and know what it means, so that they won't gift you anything non-vegan, or if you're going to be a guest at someone's house, that they know that you're vegan and they won't make you food that's non-vegan. Maybe even better, you can go to others with a vegan dish you know is tasty and amazing. So you will have something that you know 100% that no one snuck in any animal products in it. Although this may not happen to you, there are some people who are ignorant enough to ignore you and just lie that something is vegan. Also, the fact that there is a vegan dish that looks good and that you know tastes good, people will taste it and be exposed to more vegan food and know that the food is not boring and gross, even though at the end of the day, taste, like, it's a huge embarrassment to the human species that we justify violence for just a few minutes of a tasty meal or one small jacket. At the end of the day, I will suggest, for me personally, I think what would help the most is to be calm about it, to maybe wear a shirt that says that you're vegan, ask me why, or if you're not vegan, you support animal cruelty, ask. I would suggest finding easier ways to get people more interested in veganism, as annoying as it is, and as much as it sucks that you have to be nice about the fact that people are supporting mass murder and paying for it to happen. They're basically paying a hitman to kill billions of animals a year just for their pleasure, just for their comfort, which is disgusting and cruel. But at the end of the day, most vegans have not been born vegan, and we've all been brainwashed since the day we were born to believe that animal foods are healthy and that they're meant for us, and that animals willingly, nicely and calmly give us their eggs and milk and meat. And the fact that there are literally schools that we teach kids that chickens are happy, that we show them pictures and like animated videos that show that chickens are happy living in grass and that they lay like one egg a day maybe, and you know, they're happy and healthy. And basically people are being brainwashed so badly to believe that animal products are not cruelty, like that are not cruel. And well, at the end of the day, I think the nicer approach is better at first. Obviously, if someone starts to be disgusting, ignorant, starts to mock you, or just be rude and won't listen, like seriously, someone who you tried to calmly explain something to and they interrupt you, they try to excuse it with science or with cavemen or whatever reason, then by all means do whatever you want, do whatever you can, get as mad as you want. For me personally, I don't have energy to deal with people like that, so I would just say something like, okay, I hope you're happy with the fact that you know that you're responsible for a genocide, you're responsible for global warming, and you're basically killing yourself by eating foods that are causing you to get sick. Other than that, you can do whatever you want with that. I would always suggest helping them, and even though it sucks, I think what would be helpful for them personally is to sort of celebrate the small wins as much as I hate it. Like, I won't celebrate it and, have them come out and, party or whatever. Obviously, I'll just be like, I'm so proud of you, good for you, and that's it. Because at the end of the day, it's injustice. You don't have to be proud of someone for you don't have to be proud of someone when they stop supporting an injustice. It's just something that, you're supposed to do. Something that, basic human decency. But I don't know, it sucks and it's annoying, but at the end of the day, we're so brainwashed that it's hard it's hard for some people to understand what happens, and it's hard for people to sometimes believe that animals are so abused. And basically the fact that they've been raised their whole life, a lot of vegans are only in their 20s, sometimes even later, sometimes earlier as well, but they're pretty old, they're older when they wake up. They've been raised their whole life as a child to believe that animals belong to us and that they are not abused at all when taking products from them. And at the end of the day, do whatever you want. This is me just saying, this is my preference when it comes to activism, what I would suggest. Obviously, if someone starts off by yelling and being mad, I will not shut them up. I will not stop them. I will not tell them that they should be nice first and that what they're doing is wrong. Because at the end of the day, it helps just as much. It helps about to tell someone nicely and be nice to them than to be mad at them, which then they could possibly, post on social media for many people to see, a vegan just yelled at me on how I'm abusing animals for meat and dairy. And then possibly people who are less informed will be curious, ask questions, educate themselves and go vegan. Also, when more serious things happen, like more aggressive type of outreach, which I'm not saying is bad, it's equally as important, but it is more aggressive, it does help, because at the end of the day, things like this can get to the news and not reach, the typical vegan audience. They reach the whole world on the news, and people, again, that are less informed will start wondering why the activists are doing that and maybe educate themselves and go vegan. So at the end of the day, every type of outreach helps. I'm coming! Woo! So yeah, that's basically what I was saying, that every type of outreach does help. Choose whatever is best for you, and make sure that you educate yourself as well as much as possible. And yeah, I hope this video helped you learn more. I hope this video sort of got you thinking more, or got your heart working a little more, got your brain working a little more, thinking maybe how you can help the animals more than what you already do. I'm currently looking for a place to do my civil service, in a place that rescues and helps animals. And I'm going to do that with Tara, and we're really looking forward to it and trying to find a place with animals that we can work with, rescuing animals and helping them. But yeah, so hopefully this video helped you sort of understand better, and yeah, that's it basically. Just please speak up for the animals and for people being oppressed as well. Remember that they have a voice, but their voice is so completely ignored. So make sure that you speak up for them and never back down. At the end of the day, lots of people will bring up the dumbest, shitty excuses to keep hurting animals. And, if you don't know an answer to something, you can just say, okay, you're just being stupid and trying to justify animal abuse. I don't have energy to talk to you, and just leave. And you know what? Sometimes there will be a time that they will come and say, oh, what? Am I right? Do you know I'm right? Is that why you're walking away? Because you're embarrassed in the fact that I'm right and you're wrong? Just ignore them. You don't even have to look back and make a face. I mean, you can if you want. Do whatever you want, but I would personally just completely ignore that comment, and make sure that they know that I'm not gonna talk to them anymore. Well, if you like this video, or if you like videos containing animal rights activism. If you like personal sort of like point of view kind of things, I guess. Basically, go to my channel trailer. I do need to update it, I think, because I think I may have added a few things, and there are things that I still haven't talked about yet. But my channel is about all the things that I've said in my channel trailer, so you can go ahead and watch that. And if you are interested in any of those topics, I would suggest subscribing to my channel. It would also really help me subscribing to my channel, watching my full videos. Even if they interest you less, you can just put your phone on the side and, let the video play while you do something else. And, even if you don't watch the whole thing, it's fine, but at least a bit. It really helps. Liking, commenting, and sharing obviously also helps. And other than that, I hope you have a very, very great day or night, depending where in the world you are. I hope you're staying safe, and bye!